To you. This is Kakaaki Social. I'm Rena Obozeghie. Welcome to Tuesday's edition. Until it was the hour of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu nationwide broadcast Monday, the news on social media was the ministerial nominees being screened by the Senate. So we start from the villa this morning. In his address, Tinubu says he understands the impact of his economic policies on the people so far. He mentioned that if there were other ways to go about it besides fuel subsidy removal that was beneficial to only smugglers and fraudsters, he would have explored such measures. He wants you to trust his ability in ensuring a better tomorrow for everyone. Besides, 1 trillion naira that would have gone into the already fat bank account of a group of people has been saved from fuel subsidy removal. Let's have him talk to us more in this video.
Subsidy and the preferential exchange rate system were key to this fight. This fight is to define the fate and future of our nation. Much is imbalance. Thus, the effect in our economy immensely profited a tiny elite, the elite of the elite, you might call them. As we move to fight the flaws in the economy, the people who grow rich from them predictably will fight back through every means necessary. But we are ready.
The president there saying that the government is ready for whatever attack they get from the action ongoing. From this user, it says, very presidential speech from prepared president. Good time is knocking. Nigeria will be made a reference point in short distance time from now. For this user, it's a cut down the cost of governing, including politicians' pay. Stop all unnecessary government spending, including First Lady's office budget. Stop people's tears, then you can tell them you are for them. How could you tell people you are for them and 95% of your citizens are in unimaginable poverty? For Craig, he says he talked about a few benefiting from fuel subsidy payment for years and why subsidy had to go. I waited for their names, addresses, or to hear that they had been shot, but heard nothing. They are more powerful than the government. Had to pass their punishment to the public. Obozeghie teacher, he says if the Nigerian government is saved over 1 trillion naira in 2 months from fuel subsidy removal, why does the same government need to borrow money from the World Bank for palliative care? And finally, on that, okay, so we move away from that now to another story to say that the Senate has screened half of the 28 names before it for the position of ministers, while some like Wike enjoyed the bow and go phrase. 6 others had the same grace for either being serving members of the National Assembly or former lawmakers. Besides them, other pretty had it quite difficult and deep for them. Better Idu, who may be posted to the health sector, trended after her session. She was getting a lot of virtual hugs of well done and some soft knocks here and there. Besides those moments, the other nominees made it to the streets of social media. There were discrepancies in their document. I've put some together from their sessions. Let's have this video and come back for reactions.
In my 4 years in the second tenure, I've never left my state and slept outside my state. I've made sure that I'm in my state to take the challenges, to solve the problems of my people. And that's why when I was living like a hero. They escorted me home, where women brought out their wrappers and laid on the ground and said, march on the wrapper, welcome our son. You have done very, very well.
On the very first page, page 1, you said you were born on the 2nd of December, 1980. Now, looking further down, you attended St. John's Primary School, Boko. You just wrote 1989. I'm wondering whether you finished primary school in 1989, which will suggest that you either started primary school at the age of 3 or 2 for you to finish in 1989. That's one.
Looking at the resume that we have of Professor Joseph, I think ordinarily that the discrepancies that you find in the times enumerated here may necessarily have come from typographical errors.
I would like you to go back to your academic qualifications. I've been looking for your school cert. I saw one. You sat for 5 subjects with 2 credits. I don't know how. I want to imagine that you still have another to bring. If not, I would want you to explain how you got into university with that. Thank you.
I have other secondary school results which I have all passed that I have not attached to my CV because we are talking of secondary school certificates. I have sat for another examination and I have passed, but I don't want to attach another qualification because
you don't choose and pick. So we will give the nominee time to bring the other certificates to circulate, but not necessarily appearing again before us.
All right, then that was some of the moments from the session screening yesterday. You have an updated result, but you do not want to deliberately attach it to your CV. Wow. For this user on Instagram, it says, for benefit of doubt, let me assume that you actually have other secondary school sets and you deemed it fit to bring one with 2 credits. Even if you are telling the truth, the poor judgment is enough for disqualification because it means as a minister, your judgment will be poor. How we go even take no if you later bring the results to the clerk? There is God. Oh. Big man in the making, he says the guy was sweating, nearly urinated on himself. You did it. He said Akpabio should have allowed this guy answered questions. How did you enter university with 2 credits, no maths, no English? Darker days ahead. Renew shege loading. Now this type, una won't give minister. And Victor, he says you can never give what you don't have. The man was even referred to as a professor. Until we decide that this country can move forward, it will remain a scam as most of us are dishonest. Why do you want to serve with dubious CV? And they said it is typographical error. On Wike now, Aziz is saying that Nyesom Wike appeared before the Senate for ministerial screening and he was not asked a single question. The Senate President, his deputy, and Rivers State Senator took turns to praise him and afterwards told him to take a bow and go. What a country. But reacting to that is Adeda, who says, to be fair, he was an exceptional governor by Nigeria's standard and he is also a politically smart individual. What is there to ask him? Now, coming to Better Edu now, Ebi says, Better Edu is speaking well, but I would have loved to see her making examples of what she did as a commissioner of health in Cross River. She can't fool me. And still on that, SF Adedayo says, her screening was so exceptional, well prepared and composed. She's just too knowledgeable and brilliant in her field. There are worries what senators from the opposition political parties are doing there. And Malake is asking PDP, Labour Party, and other senators from minority parties seem to be asleep at the ministerial screening. I am not impressed. And the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is accusing the Nigerian government of sponsoring Simon Ekpa to cause unrest in the southeast. Counsel to the IPOB leader, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, disclosed this in a statement on Monday. Ejiofor said Kanu made the remark when the IPOB leader's legal team visited him at the facility of the State Security Service, SSS, on Monday in Abuja, where he is being held. And it was very clear that no freedom fighter anywhere in the world would impose economic hardship and unimaginable terror on his people as a style of liberating them. More reactions to this now is coming from Hasta, who says when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was having his field day, threatening hell and brimstone, insulting whoever didn't agree with his approach, daring the government both at the federal and state levels who were bankrolling him then. First B says, you guys are not serious. Ekpa will never take you people serious. The release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will end sit at home. The earlier you guys stop playing this nonsense game, the better. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for peace sake and dialogue now. And finally, Uwa Neka, it says Nigerian government should deny this and release Nnamdi Kanu. Particularly, they need to deny this just to react to this. And to our final story, and on today's episode of Romeo and Juliet, a newly appointed magistrate, Musa Senwo Gerere, who was promoted 2 weeks ago to the rank of Grade 1 magistrate by the Judicial Service Commission, has been arrested for posing as a woman to sit for exams for his girlfriend at the Law Development Center in Uganda. The accused has been charged with 2 counts of forgery and remanded in prison till August 3rd. Pictures of him dressed as a woman with braided hair have gone viral on social media, as you would see just here. And in a statement, the judiciary confirmed that the suspect is a Grade 1 magistrate appointed recently by the Judicial Service Commission, but he will be relieved of his appointment. What love cannot do does not exist. Is that what we're supposed to say here? Let's see some reactions. Lasisi is saying that, you see this thing called love, eh? It will make you muse anyhow. You know, say your baby yellow like moi moi, and you carry this guy odumodu face with muzzle for ear to replace her. How? Like how? And this user says, so this is love. The best thing would have been to teach her since you have decided to take this route. Well, all the best. And Kingsley Trash says, dear queens, if he won't disguise as a lady to write your exam for you, please dump him. Oh wow. And final reactions coming from Ayo. It says, una go dey take some risk where women no go ever take for una. Government need to ban love and remove subsidy. Well, this one, see, you know, concern us. Just when we are planning to love and get loved, you are telling us they should ban love. As why? Why? Well, that's everything on Kakaaki Social this morning. Our phone number is 0811-543-6670. I'll see you again tomorrow.